Welcome, everyone. It's fantastic to have you here for another episode of the Raider Ragu Show, brought to you by the They Follow from Burness Network. We're so excited to dive into today's topic with you. Our goal is always to bring you content that's not only engaging, but also leaves you with something valuable to think about. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We truly appreciate you tuning in and being with us.
What up, Raider Nation? Welcome in to another episode of the Raider Ragu Show. So, the Raiders would go on in the second quarter of the season at New England, Buffalo at home, Rams at home, and then at Jets. So, interesting there. 2 East Coast trips on the bookends of being at home twice. And when I say at home against the Rams, I really do mean at home at Allegiant, not at SoFi, which would be our home as well, even I think at their place. I think it would be more Raider fans even at the Rams game. The Rams really are from Anaheim when they left here. The Rams left here from Orange County. They did not leave from the Coliseum. They did not leave anywhere near Inglewood. They were in a total different county when they left here. So they don't really have fans in Los Angeles like that. The Raiders do, still. But anyway, they boxed in the 2 home games against the Bills, which is a good home game. Good thing we don't have to play the Bills in the snow. Good thing we don't have to travel to the Bills. That's a long trip. And quite frankly, it's not too nippy, I don't think, on November 1st, right? You might get a little bit of nippiness in New York City on November 1st, but it's way better than going in like late December or January, February, right? It's not going to be that cold. So they get Escape New York on November 1st. They're out of there. Play a 10 a.m. game there, 1 p.m. in New York. And that it would wrap up the second quarter of the season. So now we at the halfway point of the season. We go on to play in week 9 at San Francisco. This is the Battle of the Bay. All right, this is where all the old school Oakland Raider fans will get to come down, tailgate, and dominate. Right? I know they're going to show up and show out at Levi Stadium. Definitely on the tailgate tip. And guys, just behave yourselves, right? And we should see a real good spirited football game because the fans are definitely going to be spirited. In the Battle of the Bay, the Raiders, this is the closest they come to Oakland to play football since they left. So you can rest assured there'll be a lot of Oakland Raiders fans there. And yeah, ready to cheer on the Raiders and cook up some good steaks. So, after that, back home for a contest against the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. And Clint Kubiak, our head coach, his old team, the team that he won the Super Bowl with. So that is an interesting matchup, coming right out of the interesting matchup that is the Battle of the Bay. So the Raiders got some intrigue in this year's schedule, right? Some storylines, if you will. Now, next, November 22nd, we finally play the Donkeys, right? Not sure how I feel about playing the Donkeys so late, but it is now week 11, and I believe both teams will be what they are by that time. You understand what I mean? So we'll know. And I expect the Donkeys to be good, right? They got the good defense. No, that defense isn't going anywhere. They've added a few pieces to it. They got a little bit of more help for Bo Nix. I feel they didn't really do him that well. But a team that was first half away or one half of football away from going to the Super Bowl themselves. Got a little bit better, so we expect them to be good. We kind of know what they are. We wonder what the Raiders are going to be at that point in the season. But the Raiders don't play the Donkeys until week 11, and that is at Denver. So week 11 at Denver, 125 Mountain Time, I believe Denver is on, and November 22nd. It's going to be nippy, right? Thanksgiving weekend or the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I don't know, man. It could be cold. It could be a little nippy there. They have great defense. This is another storyline where Kubiak is going back to play at his dad's old place, right? Will they boo him? Will they welcome him? That type of thing. Another little bit of piece of drama. But yeah, first time playing the Donkeys isn't until week 11, November 22nd. And then to round out the third quarter of the season at Cleveland Browns. This was another long trip, but Denver's not too bad of a trip from Vegas. And, this is about the toughest little stretch of the schedule right here. The trip up to Frisco is not too bad, right? It's, just northern Cali. The Seattle back at home. Denver's not too bad of a trip from Vegas. And then just before the bye week, you take the long flight to Cleveland to play the Browns. 10 a.m. game, week 12, November 29th in Cleveland. Could be one of those blustery, windy type games, man. Storm, weather coming off the lake type deal. Low scoring, terrible conditions type game. Could be. I've seen it happen at this time of year there a lot. So that rounds out the first 3 quarters of the season. Now, the last quarter consists of 5 games because of the 17-game schedule, right? So the Raiders have a bye, week 13. This is I was chatting with the guy in the chat on my live. This is a good time to have a bye for the veteran guys, right? That have been playing for a few years. They can get a chance to heal up a little bit, take a little bit of a rest, and then go down the stretch and finish the season out strong. Now, the only thing sad would be if the Raiders are 0-12 right here, right? That would be horrible. But 6-6, 5-7, 4-8, 3-9. I'm not mad. Be a lot happier with 6-6, but anywhere in between 3 and 6 wins at this point right here, I'm happy with because I know how hard it is to win in the NFL, and I know the teams we play. And then that just leaves you, the Browns. It's going to be tough to beat. Dolphins, Kansas City, the Chargers, the Saints, New England, Buffalo, the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. Right? We don't know what they're going to be at that point. Right? You never know how the season goes. Broncos, Seahawks, Niners, Rams, Bills, Patriots. If we were able to pull out, 6, I think we're probably not going to win. So now you got 6 more games. If we could win half of those games, that would be 3. If we could win all of them, that would be sensational. We would come into that bye week 6-6. Let's say it's a scenario where the Raiders come into the bye week and they are 5-7. All right. Just to kind of not be too optimistic, but not to be too doom and gloom as well. They open up Chargers at home at Allegiant Stadium, the other home against the Chargers. The Chargers do not get to play home games against the Raiders. The Raiders own SoFi, and then they have to come to Allegiant. And then next, Broncos at home. And next, Tennessee Titans at home. So, the bye week is the week of December 6th. Then the Raiders play the Chargers and the Broncos and the Titans next 3 ball games at home. So for the entire month of December, the Raiders will be at home. The Raiders will be at home for the holidays. Home for the holidays. Aha. So that's got to be pretty cool. The schedule makers looked out for the new coaching staff and the Raider players. I don't know if there's any other team that has that, but the Raiders have the bye, which that is at home. And then they have the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Titans in consecutive weeks. And then when they do have to fly 2 days after New Year's on January 3rd, it's just to Arizona and back. Arizona is just a little hop right over from Nevada, right, if you know your geography, right? We're from the West out here. We know that all of that stuff is close. For you people listening, Phoenix is 255 nautical miles away from Las Vegas, and the flight is 1 hour and 10 minutes long. But for you people listening abroad and on the other side of the country, Arizona and Nevada is very close. Phoenix and Las Vegas is a very close flight. So the Raiders don't do much traveling for the next 5 weeks because you include the bye week. They're not going anywhere. Then the Chargers, Broncos, and Titans, they're not going anywhere because they playing at home. And then they do a little bit of travel over to Arizona and back. And then they end up on the road at KC. So now, the scenario I was getting at, I don't want to do any predictions, but let's just say, right, that they were at 5-7, and they hit that stretch just at home and got to feeling good about themselves, man, and end up popping the Chargers, pop the Broncos. Remember how tough we played the Broncos? They only beat us like 10-7, right, late in the season? What if they pop Chargers, pop Broncos, pop Titans, pop Cardinals, right? So they reel off 4 in a row. They were 4. We said they were 5-7, right? Now, all of a sudden, they're 9-7, playing the Chiefs at KC. If they win, they're in. Or they can at least knock KC out. Or maybe it's for the West. We don't know. Because we didn't beat the Broncos. We didn't beat the Chargers, right? Maybe it's for the West. I'm tripping. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But that game could mean something at KC. Even if we don't win as many games as we would like, that could be a game where we knocking the Chiefs out of the playoffs, right? So ending up the season at Kansas City. And that is the schedule. 2026, the Raiders 2026 regular season schedule. What do you guys think, Raider Nation? Let me know. You can comment on the Spotify. You can make comments on the YouTube channel. You can also follow me on TikTok or Instagram, Raider Ragu on Instagram and TikTok. Also, YouTube, you can comment on the videos. See what you guys think about the schedule. There's a live video that I did on YouTube that's up. You can comment on there about the schedule. What you guys think about the schedule? You think it's difficult? You think it's mid? Or you think it's easy? Me personally, I think it's a bit of a difficult schedule. And the Raiders do have the last place schedule, but when you are assigned to play the NFC West and the AFC East, and the AFC East had the Super Bowl representative in it, and the AFC West had the Super Bowl representative in it, as well as the AFC West had the team that was in the AFC Championship against New England, and the NFC West had the team that was in the NFC Championship against Seattle. And we have to play all four of those teams, right? In addition to the Niners, who have been a tough team, and the Kansas City Chiefs, who last year were a bit down, but they're looking to rebound, so we got to play them twice. The Chargers beat us twice. They're a playoff team. So just by virtue of our division and the divisions that we have to play, it makes it a tough schedule. Yeah, they threw in Cleveland. Yeah, they threw in Tennessee and the Saints, which isn't too bad at all. But when you pair it up with the other games, and, you know, it ends up being a bit tough, but manageable, I think, especially with the December love. But anyway, I'm not going to hold you guys. Just win, baby. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Raider Ragu Show. Don't forget to download the show, like, comment, and subscribe for more Raiders content. Follow us on YouTube at Raider Ragu for updates and behind-the-scenes action. Stay loyal. Raider Nation will see you next time.